throughout. How to wear your mask as they go around your ear. If they're too tight, they will give you a headache. So make sure you've worn your mask well and ensure that it is comfortable. If you wear makeup, go for a black mask. Keep off these type of white masks or the blue masks or any other light colored mask, but wear a black mask because this will help camouflage when your foundation and powder smudges and your lipstick on the mask. This will keep you looking nice and neat all day long. About your mask, do not discard your mask carelessly. Don't ever leave your mask anywhere in public. Remember, it has germs, so don't leave it in public. Keep it somewhere like in a paper bag or somewhere where not everybody can see it. Don't leave it on tables or anywhere where it can be seen. Discard of it properly so that you always practice good mask hygiene. These are self-care tips. I am Irene Joroge.
Once more, it is time to serve one world-class football connected by shared passion. The 2021-2022 DFB Cup second round matches are on.
Lewandowski, the best striker in the world. He got a hand to it.
Lined up this Wednesday, the 27th of October 2021 at 9:45 p.m. is Borussia Mönchengladbach versus FC Bayern München. DFB Pokal winners 3 times and 20 times respectively. Find out which team is good enough to stay the bruising course to the end of the annual German Knockout Football Cup competition. Live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC, your true sports partner.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
From Nairobi, Kenya, it's 9 p.m. East African time. Good evening and welcome to KBC Prime Edition. My name is Mboya. Our eyes on the news tonight, the events that shape the local, continental, as well as business news this Tuesday, the 26th of October, 2021.
And in sports, I, Karen Kibet, will be bringing you the latest. You don't want to miss out because we have amazing stories from our able reporters. Do not miss out. But first, Tom, back to you.
That's right, and Lensa Odingo is our sign language expert tonight. Top in this live broadcast.
Major climate change impacts across our African continent. These include the ongoing drought that has ravaged eastern parts of our country and precipitated famine.
Climate change. President Uhuru Kenyatta warns the continent stands to lose over 30% of GDP.
We have done many things together. We have complemented one another. And we have formed a formidable team.
In politics, you must be very careful to listen to the people.
Big catch for UDA. Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru shifts allegiance to Deputy President William Ruto. And turmoil in Sudan. Hundreds poured to the streets to protest military takeover. Our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 hashtag is Prime Edition, and my Twitter handle at Mboya24. Straight to our top story. President Uhuru Kenyatta has warned that the African continent stands to lose over 30% of gross domestic product to effect of climate change. The president urged African states to put in place measures that will guard against adverse effects of climate change. Judith Akolo opens our coverage tonight with a Climate Watch.
President Uhuru Kenyatta is rallying the global community to support Africa in implementing adaptation to climate change programs. The president, who spoke virtually at the Global Center on Adaptation launch of a report on climate change, said adaptation to climate change will help to cushion the vulnerable communities faced by the impacts of climate change, including severe drought and intense flooding.
We are together seeing major climate change impacts across our African continent. These include the ongoing drought that has ravaged eastern parts of our country and precipitated famine.
Speaking at the hybrid conference hosted by the University of Nairobi and in commemoration of the African Adaptation Acceleration Day, a precursor to the 26th Conference of Parties, COP26, that will be held in Glasgow in the United Kingdom, the president noted that despite Kenya significantly increasing the amount of financial resources invested in adaptation programs in recent years, the country needed more international support to fully implement its updated, nationally determined contributions.
We need to accelerate action to moderate the negative impacts of climate change, facilitate adjustment to expected climate impacts, and strengthen our capacity to absorb, accommodate, and recover from climate change effects.
The Chief Executive Officer of GCA called for simplification of requirements needed for African countries to access funding for adaptation programs.
I call upon all developed nations to increase their ambition in lowering their carbon footprint. But at the same time, I also call upon the developed nations to increase their ambition on adaptation finance for the developing nations.
Judith Akolo, the Prime Edition.
Let's now move into politics. Deputy President William Samoei Ruto has termed the decision by Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru to join the United Democratic Alliance Party as a bold move. Ruto, who Tuesday welcomed Waiguru to his camp at his current residence, said it takes only courageous leaders to make very difficult decisions. Waiguru said that her decision to jump ship was informed by the people of Kirinyaga. Kamche Meza with that story.
Tuesday morning, Deputy President's current residence played host to Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, who led a group of 25 members of Kirinyaga County Assembly, including the Speaker Anthony Gathumbi, in decamping from Jubilee.
Sisi leo tulikuwa tumekuja hapa kufanya tu kitu moja, na ni kuvuka.
Chama ni UDA, form ni hasla, mpango ni UDA.
Governor Waiguru, whose support for Jubilee Party in recent times has been shaky, termed her decision as one that was influenced by the electorate in her county.
It's them who decide. And when they decide is when you decide to stand. You don't hear them saying they're not going to elect you and you still insist that you're going, utaanguka.
Deputy President, who lauded Waiguru's move, said the wind has begun blowing.
Even on this other side, we have also been waiting for this moment. Because we all knew it is going to happen. When was the problem?
So we have listened, and Kirinyaga, I think, spoke. And the last speaking in Kirinyaga was Mashujade. Anybody who had any doubts of where that ground of Kirinyaga was anyone, they had it for themselves. They saw it for themselves. We even saw you were a bit startled yourself.
Ruto, while acknowledging having formed a strong team with President Uhuru Kenyatta that focused on development, said Waiguru joining UDA will strengthen the party and further help achieve the bottom-up economic model.
It takes very courageous leaders to make serious decisions. Many people would rather make peace with mediocrity rather than be bold. It would have been a big loss if we didn't come together so that we can build on the success we've had and take this country to the next level.
Waiguru, who is keen to retain her gubernatorial seat in Kirinyaga, will face off with Wangoi Ngirichi, who is in UDA and has also expressed interest in Kirinyaga governor's seat. Kamche Menza for Prime Edition.
Now, you remember the main suspect behind the murder in August of 4 bikers in Kitengela, Kajiado County. He has been denied bond by the High Court in Kajiado. Benson Melonye Ole Mungai will now remain behind bars until 15th of December, 10 days before Christmas, when the case will come up for pre-trial. Ben Troy Njue is with that report.
40-year-old Benson Melonye Ole Mungai is accused of masterminding the murder of Frederick Mureithi Wanjiru, Victor Mwangi Wanjiru, Mike George Oduso, and Nicholas Chengo Musa in Nkamuriaki in Kajiado Town. His bail application was denied by High Court Judge Stella Mutuku. The 4 bikers were celebrating a birthday when they were lynched by a mob on suspicion of being cattle thieves. Elsewhere, former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich and former Kerio Valley Managing Director David Kimosop have opposed an application by the Director of Public Prosecutions to amend the charge sheet in the multi-billion Arol and Kimwarel Dam scandal. The two claim the consolidation of the charges as sought will only delay the conclusion of the case. The DPP wanted to consolidate the 2 cases on grounds that the charges arise from same facts and circumstances, but the two argued it would result in the infringement of their constitutional right. The court will make a determination on Friday, 29th of October. Elsewhere, Victor Kiprono Ngeno, who was posing as a magistrate, will remain in custody for a week awaiting his bail application ruling. Appearing before Principal Magistrate Isaac Orenge, Ngeno, alongside his wife Mercy Chepkurui, on Tuesday denied impersonation and fraud charges. It is alleged that on diverse dates between October the 1st, 2018 and December 2019, the two obtained 5 million shillings from different Kenyans through false pretenses and impersonation. Ngeno's wife Mercy was, however, released on a 350,000 shillings cash bail after prosecution informed the court they had no compelling reasons to continue holding her. And finally, a Maralal court has suspended Dakitari Lokombayo bond terms and authorized the DCI to detain him for 2 more weeks before taking plea for murder charges at the Meru High Court on November 8, 2021. Senior Resident Magistrate James Wanyaga suspended bond terms minutes after releasing Lokombayo on a bond of 500,000 shillings following a protest from the prosecution. Lokombayo had earlier pleaded not guilty to the offense of being in possession of an M16 rifle and 19 rounds of ammunition at Lerata area, Serra Conservancy in Samburu East Sub-County on October the 8th. For Prime Edition, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
Now, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation has entered into an agreement with the Media Council of Kenya to train interns. Under the agreement, the state broadcaster will train 10 interns in the next quarter. The Media Council will take care of the students' stipends during this period. Ruth Wamboi reports.
Kenya Broadcasting Corporation boasts of being the first media house to enter into a joint partnership with the Media Council of Kenya.
Every year we've been absorbing up to 780 attaches. That number was applying before COVID. After COVID, that number came down to 300 and it still remains the highest for any media house.
Speaking during the signing of a memorandum of understanding, KBC Managing Director Dr. Naim Bilal said media houses are overstretched in terms of resources and the joint partnership will come in handy.
When you consider that in government we've got an internship policy, there's an attachment policy, and it gets quite difficult to accommodate interns because there are resource implications when you're accommodating interns.
Being the mother of trainers, Dr. Naim Bilal also hinted at an ongoing process by the corporation to establish a fully fledged training center.
KBC is in the process of establishing a full-fledged training center in one of our facilities in Langata, where we shall be able to offer practical training opportunities for practitioners and for those interested in a career in the media sector.
The MCK Chief Executive Officer David Omoyo lauded KBC for being the first partner in the initiative that will provide the interns with hands-on training.
We will jointly advertise and jointly recruit so that the identification of the needs is done by you, the media house.
Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
Some good news there for Interns Media Council to cater for the student stipends. Now, manufacturing and affordable housing projects are the worst performing development projects in Embu, Uasin Gishu, as well as Mombasa counties. Research by the Institute of Public Finance Big Four scorecard says poor performance is attributed to competing interests and low budgetary allocations at the county level. Regina Manyara reports.
With barely 2 months to go, the Big Four agenda pillars that were to be attained by 2022 are yet to be realized.
And public participation in the implementation of the Big Four agenda is other key thing that's missing. And linkage, with national policy, raising the issue of budget credibility. Where are these resources?
The Big Four agenda blueprint was developed in 2018 to foster economic development by focusing on delivering 100% food security and nutrition through increasing large-scale production of staple foods. The blueprint also focuses on providing universal healthcare by 2022, provision of affordable housing, and enhancing the manufacturing sector through the promotion of local manufacturing industries.
That allocation and execution being very low is a message that we need to properly prioritize our resources as a country. Where are we allocating those resources?
However, competing interests at the county level as well as budgetary allocations have led to slow implementation of projects under the economic blueprint.
If you look at the Big Four agenda, it was primarily also geared towards achieving the Bill of Rights. Health, housing, or what's our constitution and states. So there is need for proper partnerships between the national government and the county government.
A study by the Institute of Public Finance says manufacturing and affordable housing were the most underperforming projects across Embu, Uasin Gishu and Mombasa counties. Experts are now calling for inclusivity at the policy-making level as well as improved domestic resource mobilization to support the project and program implementation. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, tens of vehicles and motorbikes were impounded in Embu County as police and National Transport and Safety Authority officers mounted a crackdown targeting road users who flout traffic rules. Eastern Region Traffic Commander Jen Kuria says that the move was informed by the need to enforce traffic rules in the wake of rising road fatalities. Here is that report.
Statistics from the Police and National Transport and Safety Authority Eastern Region has recorded 789 fatalities due to road accidents from 2019 to date. Eastern Region Traffic Commander Jen Kuria says a crackdown of traffic rules offenders is being undertaken in Embu and Kirinyaga counties in a bid to reduce the rising cases of road carnage.
Why we are doing this? Because we have had so many fatalities which are occasioned by the drivers tampering with the speed governors. So we have just started we are not going to release the motor vehicles until they do what they are required to do.
Korea says majority of the vehicles impounded had defective speed governors, while border offences ranged from lack of insurance and riding licenses, as well as protective gear for both the driver and the pillion passengers.
We are going to continue with this operation, given that now that curfew has been lifted, we are expecting most of these motorists to take advantage of that situation. But what I can tell them, we are not going to rest. We want them to follow these rules and regulations of traffic.
NTSA Eastern Region Manager Doris Abaya said once charged in court, the offenders will have to ensure their vehicles have complied with all regulations before they can be allowed back on the road.
The speed governor vendors, they're supposed to give standardized speed governors, because what is happening out here, if we don't have speed governors that are functional or that are standardized, that is what exposes the risk factors. Speed is one of the risk factors that we have on the roads. So it is expected that they will do a compliance inspection. If and when they pass the compliance inspection is when they will have their number plates given back to them.
Those arrested will be arraigned in court on Wednesday.
Well, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics Economic Survey for 2021 revealed that accidents increased last year, even as Kenyans were working from home and moving less during the night because of the curfew. Very interesting. But that story brings us to our first break. We're going to be back shortly. Do stay with us.
To get Philippians 1/6 as your Skiza tune, dial star 811 star 965 hash.
And I'm certain that God, who began the good work within you, will continue his work until it is finally finished on the day when Jesus Christ returns. Philippians chapter 1 verse 6.
To get Philippians 1/6 as your Skiza tune, dial star 811 star 965 hash. Star 811 star 965 hash.
There you are. Let's now look at an item on COVID here. The COVID-19 positivity rate in the country is now at 2.1%. This is after 151 people tested positive from a sample size of 7,224 screened over the last 24 hours. From the latest cases, 141 are Kenyans, while 10 are foreigners. Total confirmed positive cases are now 252,839, and cumulative tests so far conducted are slightly over 2.6 million. In the last one day, 35 patients have recovered from the disease, increasing total recoveries to 246,390. The death toll has increased to 5,263, sadly, after 3 patients succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits in the months of July and October of this year, 2021. Globally, over 244.23 million people have been infected, while more than 4.95 million others have lost the fight, according to data from Johns Hopkins University. Okay, let's move on. The Kenya Forests Service has held a series of consultative meetings with the key stakeholders in Elgeyo Marakwet County to secure the Embobut Forest Reserve. Elgeyo Marakwet Governor Alex Tolgos assured the KFS delegation, led by Chief Conservator of Forests Julius Kamau, that the devolved unit would continue cooperating with forest rangers to support conservation efforts. Yusuf Farah reports.
Our day begins at the Kenya Forest Service headquarters in the Karura Forest. A briefing on the day's program by the service's Chief Conservator Julius Kamau before we embark on the journey. Our destination, the Embobut Forest Reserve. This jungle boasts over 21,000 hectares of forest land and is a vital water tower for communities living upstream and downstream. Kenya Forest Service has made steady and successful efforts in reclaiming chunks of land here from illegal settlers and armed cattle rustlers using this as a hideout. Despite this, the forest still faces a risk of reinvasion. This has prompted action from the service. One of the key moves made by the service is the establishment of 2 community forest associations, a first of its kind in this area.
We also require to engage with the forest adjacent communities. And in this case, we are able to send our team from the headquarters, working together with the team at the Conservancy and the ecosystem, to also create awareness among the forest adjacent communities in a way of helping them to form a CFA, a community forest association, that we can be able to engage with and who we can give legitimate access right into the forest, so that they are also able to benefit from grazing, from water resources, and from other activities.
Thanks to the cooperation from both levels of government, an access road is also being constructed to ease entry and movement into the forest for rangers stationed at the Kapiego and Chisoi forest stations.
I also came to see the status of that road because it will also provide a very, very good environment for us to patrol and support management and any other activity we want to do in the forest. And I'm happy the fight has gone, and perhaps in the next 1 or 2 months we should be able to have completed that road.
During the meeting with Elgeyo Marakwet Governor Alex Tulkos, the Chief Conservator of Forest was assured of the county government support in complementing the service's efforts.
We are working closely with KFS to ensure that we look into it, that we conserve our forests. We've developed a bill and policy to ensure that we do conservation in our community and also our farmlands. I want to urge also the other leaders, especially at this time when we are moving towards an election period. Let's avoid utterances that maybe will bring conflict between the government or the KFS and the communities, because this is an issue which is very sensitive, and as leaders we must be responsible.
Sentiments echoed by the County Commissioner Dr. Ahmed Umar, who said no stone will be left unturned in seeing to it that the forest reserve will be protected.
We are committed towards ensuring that we preserve the integrity of our forest blocks in Elgeyo Marakwet, including the Embobut forest. And we will use all means possible, both legal and in form of operation, to ensure that no land within Embobut and other forest blocks are encroached and currently being degraded.
The Chief Conservator says the service will remain steadfast in its resolve to jealously guard the vast canopy of green cover from those looking to illegally benefit from it.
Even when the people themselves do not consider that and actually are taking actions that may be detrimental to themselves, we as a government must tell them to stop, so that we are able to work together and secure the lives of this current generation and also for the future generation.
The multi-agency approach with support from both the national and the county government will not only help the service protect this water tower, but in the long run see it grow more trees to appreciate and also reach the targeted forest cover. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition from the Embobut Forest, Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Well, residents of Kajiado County are appealing to government to come to their aid as their livelihoods are threatened due to drought. The residents said that they've lost their livestock to the biting drought. This and more stories making headlines in the roundup.
For over 2 years, some parts of the country have not received enough rains, diminishing the much-needed pasture for their livestock. This has forced most of the herders to relocate with their animals to neighboring counties in search of pasture. Locals are now calling on the government to come to their rescue.
Watoto ndio tunakuwa tunahangaika kwa sababu ya chakula. Hiyo mfugo wetu sisi kama wafugaji wa Kajiado, benki yetu ni hizi na tumeharibika na kiangazi.
Murang'a University lecturers and non-teaching staff want the institution's management to fully implement the 2017 to 2021 collective bargaining agreement. The members of staff have accused the university's management of disregarding a court's order which directed the institutions of higher learning to increase salaries for lecturers and non-teaching staff from January this year.
So mine is just to say that this is what we need. Members need their money. Members need the money that was ruled by the courts. That is what they need, and that is what we are here for.
Meanwhile, Kiambu County government has moved in to construct a bridge connecting Urera and Biashara wards in Juja and Ruiru constituencies. Kiambu Governor James Nyoro said the county was stepping to reconstruct the bridge dubbed Killer Bridge to ease mobility in the area.
Miaka 9 hamuja kuwa na daraja hapa. Miaka 20 na devolution tumekuwa na miaka 9. Sasa mwaka moja na nusu mutakuwa na daraja ya kupita hapa.
Finally, members of Tana River County Assembly have accused the county executive of a misuse of county emergency funds. According to the ward representatives, the administration has failed to use 132 million shillings set aside for drought mitigation as locals continue suffering. They are now calling on the Auditor General to undertake a probe on the financial dealings in the county.
Umetenga shilingi milioni 132. Kuna ripoti nimewapatia. Katika hiyo ripoti special program wamesema wamenunua vyakula wakasambaza vijijini huku county mzima. Hapa iko ni uongo mtu.
For Prime Edition, my name is Msafiri Malina.
An update now on the coup. Sudan has suspended all inbound and outbound flights until the 30th of October 2021. That's according to the country's civil aviation authority. Defiant anti-coup protesters in Sudan have barricaded roads in the capital, Khartoum, returning to the streets for a second consecutive day, despite the security forces' use of violence the day before. Army General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan Monday announced a state of emergency across the country while dissolving the country's transitional authorities. Several government officials, including Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, appeared locked up in unknown destinations.
Pro-democracy protesters remain on the streets of Sudan for the second day after the country's armed forces launched a military coup. Chanting and waving flags, they blocked roads in the capital Khartoum and around the country following the takeover. On Monday, coup leader General Abdel Fattah Burhan dissolved civilian rule, arrested political leaders and declared a state of emergency. General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan said political groups had been inciting civilians against the security forces. The soldiers are said to have opened fire on crowds and reportedly killed 10 people. General Abdel Fattah Burhan sought to justify the takeover by blaming political infighting. Troops are reported to have been going house to house in Khartoum, arresting local protest organizers. The US has joined the UK, EU, UN and African Union in demanding the release of political leaders who are locked up in unknown locations.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the day's business. Now, business has begun. Rice farmers, rather, will have to source alternative markets for their rice harvest this season. The Kenya National Trading Corporation Managing Director Pamela Mutua says that its warehouses are full. She said they are yet to find buyers from the previous season's harvest.
The Kenya National Trading Corporation says it has only 300 million shillings in its revolving fund to purchase rice from farmers. The corporation says the money is not sufficient to purchase rice from farmers and is awaiting government institutions to pay for the previous deliveries to show up the kitty. Rice farmers have been advised to source for other markets for their produce, as the corporation's warehouse is still holding rice stocks worth 300 million shillings yet to be purchased. Late last year, President Uhuru Kenyatta directed the National Treasury to release 660 million shillings to KNTC to facilitate the purchase of rice from farmers on behalf of government agencies. These, among other measures, were meant to revitalize the rice sector by providing a ready market for rice farmers.
I did, when I visited Kirinyaga last, direct that the Kenya National Trading Corporation purchase all the rice, not only from where, but also from Kano Plains, for onward selling to our disciplined forces, prison services, as well as to our boarding schools. And I am pleased to confirm that last year, out of 6 rice cooperatives nationally, Mboya Rice Growers Cooperative sold the most bags of rice to government.
KNTC says it has been purchasing rice from farmers above the market prices, and now farmers will have to wait longer before it purchases their current crop. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, business has begun picking up in the retail sector following the lifting of the curfew last week. Industry players have described the move as a relief for the sector that had been reeling under the effects of COVID-19. The sector is slowly resuming 24-hour operations after being forced to operate for fewer hours, losing millions of shillings. Kenyans lauded the lifting of the curfew, saying that it will kickstart the economic recovery. This even as Naivas Supermarket looks at opening the 6th outlet within the Nairobi Central Business District.
Production ilikuwa inahitajika kufanyika masaa kama 24/7, sasa ikifanyika masaa kidogo inakuwa faida iko chini. Kwa hivyo sasa zikafungwa, sasa naona zitafunguliwa zote na tutakuwa tunaheri tutaendelea mbele.
Kwa sababu at least tumeanza kuwa na pesa na furaha ya watu. Unajua kuwa na furaha ya watu. Sasa watu wameanza kukuja, matunda inakuliwa. Unaona niko na customer hapa. Mambo iko sawa kabisa.
We are having a very good relationship with our suppliers and the business is good. As sell out of the product is good. The payment can also be taken into consideration on time.
Things are tough. Economic times are tough. COVID has not been kind. People are shopping less now. The frequency has actually reduced, but the basket size now people are just buying fewer times but with bigger baskets. As market leaders, we have to be the first level of defense for our shoppers. If we are not, then we are going to have some serious levels of inflation, price inflation, which does not make sense.
Very well, that feel-good story brings us to a short break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Can you believe she actually threatened me? What? She threatened you? Your daughters are all grown up and they will understand perfectly well why you made that decision.
No, they will hate me, Ines.
Just tell them the truth now.
No!
I think it will give me great pleasure to ruin all the plans of Cassandra. You understand?
Who is this woman? No, it can't be my mom. It's not possible. My mom's already dead. You'll see, Deanna. I'll hit you where it hurts. Mommy? Oh my goodness.
Welcome back. Commercialization and full operationalization, I was very careful with that word, of the Galana Kulalu irrigation scheme will start the next 3 months. Water and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki says that the farm will soon be open to private investors as the last phase of equipping the scheme with modern irrigation infrastructure is almost complete.
Equipping of the 10,000-acre Galana Kulalu model farm is 72% complete. The project, which is 3 years behind schedule due to a standoff between the initial Israeli-based contractor Green Arava and the government over 1 billion shillings payout, saw the project stall further, derailing the government's plan to commercialize the farm. Water CS Cecily Kariuki now says the 707 million shillings phase of equipping the farm is almost complete.
In the next 3 months, it is the intention of my ministry, working through National Irrigation Authority, that this project will be completed. And this project, I'm talking about the 10,000 model farm.
This, as the Privatization Commission, is expected to open up bidding of the farm for private investors.
Given the efficiencies of private sector in terms of agriculture production, that once we have finalized in investing in the infrastructure, basic irrigation infrastructure. The 10,000 model farm is going to be commercialized, competitively commercialized.
The government is seeking private equity through a private-public partnership to fully operationalize the farm and increase its productivity.
What is good for private sector in Kenya is also good for private sector internationally. And therefore, the current process of commercialization of Galana model farm is one that has been opened up internationally.
This as the government and the World Bank are finalizing an irrigation draft policy that will guide on the process of equipping small-scale farmers with irrigation equipment as the government seeks to increase acreage under irrigation from the current 540,000 acres to 1 million acres by 2030. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
A section of farmers drawn from Kisii and Nyamira counties have received over 18,000 avocado seedlings to boost farming endeavors within the county. The seedlings were donated by Dagoretti North legislator Simba Arati, who proposed for formation of farmers' circles at sub-county level to eliminate brokers who buy the commodity from them at low prices.
Kenya is ranked among the top exporters of avocado, whose demand is extremely high in the European and Middle East market. Data from the Horticultural Crops Directorate indicates that Kenya exported 72,000 tons of avocado last year, up from 59,000 tons recorded in the previous year. Speaking while flagging off the seedlings at Matonto village in Bobasi constituency of Kisii County, Simba Arati said the farmers will reap greatly from the Hass variety of avocados.
Tumepeana mbegu ya ash avocado ambayo itasaidia watu wetu katika Kisii na Nyamira mzima. Na hii ash avocado katika soko la duniani ni mmea mmoja ambao uko wa bei juu sana.
Beneficiaries of the program expressed relief after receiving the seedlings, counting on high yields from the harvest due to the quality of the seedlings.
Ametusaidia na avocado zenye zinaitwa hasa avocado zenye tunaenda kupanda kama wakulima ndio situsaidie maisha ya mbeleni.
Now, coffee from Kagera region in Tanzania is smuggled into Uganda, with farmers now saying those low prices and nuisance taxes are affecting their trade. Uganda exported more than 6 million bags of coffee in the year 2020-2021, becoming the highest annual total in 30 years. Here are the details of this and other stories from across the continent.
Tanzania's Agriculture Minister Adolf Mkenda announced that the country's concern was to enable farmers to get better prices from their agricultural produce, and this can be realized through strengthened cooperative unions. Farmers in Karagwe district are experiencing low benefits from prices offered in the local market, triggering smuggling to neighboring countries. Cooperative unions need to be supported, encouraged and assisted to buy and sell produce at the world market instead of remaining with the coordination roles view. Meanwhile, an investment banking arm of the First Rand Bank Limited ranked Ghana 6th on this year's Where to Invest in Africa 2021 rankings. Ghana came first in West Africa in terms of investments attractiveness, outperforming Senegal and Nigeria. Ghana entered the COVID-19 crisis on a relatively stronger footing than its African peers as the economy managed to avoid a recession in 2020, outperforming the sub-Saharan Africa economies. Ghana's economy has seen major shifts over the past few years, positioning it for significant growth going forward.
And workers at an Amazon Incorporated warehouse in New York City's Staten Island have filed a petition to form a union. Former employee at the warehouse led the organizing drive and collected around 2,000 signatures to request an official vote through the U.S. National Labor Relations Board. Here are the details of this and others from across the globe.
The move represents the second time that U.S. staffers of the world's biggest online retailer have aimed to unionize this year following a failed effort at an Alabama facility in April. Though Amazon has long resisted such efforts, some employees are advocating for more protections and benefits in light of a COVID-19 pandemic that put their safety at risk. Meanwhile, Tesla surpassed a market value of $1 trillion, making it the fifth such firm to reach the milestone. Shares in the electric car maker climbed climbed 12.6% after it struck a deal to sell 100,000 vehicles to the car rental firm Hertz. Tesla has been the world's most valuable car maker, but brands like Ford and GM make more cars. Previously, only Apple, Microsoft, Amazon and Google owner Alphabet have reached a $1 trillion valuation. For years, Tesla struggled to ramp up production of its cars, leading some investors to speculate it would fail. Last year, the company led by billionaire Elon Musk upped its game and became profitable for the first time, prompting its shares to take off. Finally, the cooperative bank in the UK has admitted that it has failed in an approach to buy rival bank chain Trustee Savings Bank. The bank sent a letter to Trustee Savings Bank owner Banco de Sabadell expressing an interest in a deal. This is the second time the Co-op Bank has expressed an interest in buying Trustee Savings Bank. The Co-op Bank, at that time still part of the Co-op Group, made an approach in 2013 but had to abandon the attempt after deep financial problems of its own triggered a 1.5 billion euros rescue.
And that does it for the day's business. Karen Kibet is coming up shortly with the day's sports. Stay with us.
Imeingia hapa ndani kama
A very good evening to you. I do hope you're holding up well. It's now time for us to take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, the Africa 100 meters record holder Ferdinand Omanyala has been named the LG Sports Personality for the month of September. Omanyala achieved the feat following his stellar performance at the Kenyan round of the prestigious 2021 World Athletics Continental Tour Gold Series, the Cape Kano Classic, where he smashed his own national record, setting a new African record of 9.77 seconds. Omanyala floored other top nominees, including the late Agnes Tirop, Malkia Strikers players including Captain Masi Moim, Sharon Chepchumba, Gladys Ekaru and athlete Noah Kibet, who won the 800 meters race at the Cape Kano Classic.
I've been nominated since January, I think. Because January I was nominated. Your time Taylor Aliwin again I was nominated. But I'm happy. I've always been telling her, Maze award. But thanks to God that it had to be this one. And thank you so much, LG, for recognizing me. And it's motivating actually to see someone recognizing you and appreciating what you're doing. So it means that you're doing something good. So I'm looking forward to a great season again next year. All nominations again kila month from January.
LG is honored to keep continuing with this event of nurturing talent and also recognizing people who take up their efforts each and every month. And also in conjunction with SJAC, LG partnered to do that this year annually on a tune of 6.6 million. And I would say like this is the 10th one we're giving this year. And as you all know, they say 10 is a complete number. And it is not ironical, we are talking about 100 meters. So it is 10 times 10.
Congratulations, Ferdinand Omanyala. Moving on, Kenya Police FC head coach Bobby Ogolla has said he is not under pressure to perform despite leading his side to winning 1 match out of 3 games this season in the Football Kenya Federation Premier League. The team, which was promoted to the Kenya Top Tier League, will lock horns with KCB this Saturday in their 4th round league match at Utalii Grounds in Nairobi.
Kenya Police FC who acquired the services of John Mark Makwata and Clifton Mieso to bolster their squad following their promotion to the Kenyan Top Tier League have intensified their training. The team started the campaign with a 1-0 loss against Kakamega Homeboys and a 2-0 loss against Nairobi City Stars. However, the team registered their first win of the season after thrashing Nzoia Sugar 3-1.
Kwa ufupi hakuna mali tutashindwa. Sasa kila kombe linalokuja si ni kuchukua tu. Hatuwezi kuangalia nyuma bwana. Police FC imeingia hapa ndani kama washindani ambao tumekuja kuchukua trophy yoyote ile ambayo itakuwa mbele yetu. Mkisema sio ni ligi kuu tutachukua. Mkisema ni nini, kwa ufupi tuko hapa ni watu wapingane na sisi, lakini sisi tunaenda tu kwa ushindi.
The first thing ni vile mingi league ni stoke. Nasikia. Na whatever happens thereafter will be good. But vile ninaona na vile timu nimeona wakicheza na vile tumecheza pia mimi, I think tutafanya vizuri zaidi. Beyond my expectation.
Kila mechi ni ngumu, si KCB peke yake. Kila mechi ni ngumu, lakini tunaichukua tu vile inakuja. Hiyo vile ni ngumu pia na sisi tunajituma tu vile tunafaa.
Msimu huu ni mechi baada ya mechi na tutajua baada ya maybe first leg. Kwa sasa ni ngumu kusema, lakini kwa imani yangu mimi kibinafsi tunaweza tukiwa na imani kama timu nzima.
After losing 2 out of 3 matches they just played so far this season, Police FC will be seeking to show a splendid performance when they play against KCB this Saturday at Utalii Sports Ground. Reporting from Prime Edition from Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
Thank you, Moki, for that report. Now, Kenya's flyweight pugilist David Karanja put up a brave fight but lost his preliminary bout 4-1 on split points to Luis Delgado of Ecuador as the World Boxing Championship got underway in Belgrade, Serbia. It was the first international outing for Karanja since July after missing out in the Kenyan contingent that took part in the Tokyo Olympics. The Kenyan boxer was outstanding in the opening round but faded as the bout progressed to hand Delgado the victory. 2015 African Boxing Championship lightweight gold medalist Nick Okoth, Africa's own 3 super heavyweight gold medalist Eli Ajowi, bantam Shafi Bakari, featherweight Martin Odwor, welterweight Joseph Shikali, and light middleweight Boniface Mugunde will take to the ring tomorrow.
Though nime lose in split decision, janibamba sana. Nimefight against an experienced opponent kuniliko. Amekuwa kwa championship tena yeye. Ndio imekuwa ni opportunity poa na learning opportunity poa sana. We fight.
And we sure do wish all the boxers who are fighting tomorrow all the best in their fights. Moving on, the draw for the playoff round of the CAF Confederations Cup was conducted today in Cairo, Egypt. FKF Premier League champions Tusker FC have been drawn against Tunisian side CS Sfaxien, and they will start off at home with the first leg matches scheduled for the 28th of next month. Relegated to the Confederation Cup after a 5-0 aggregate loss to Egyptian giants Zamalek in the second preliminary rounds of the CAF Champions League. Meanwhile, FKF Cup champions Gor Mahia have drawn against Otoyo Odoyo of Congo Brazzaville. Gor Mahia progressed in the Confederation Cup after a walkover against Al Ali Meroe of Sudan. And finally, Diego Maradona's former lawyer Matias Mota says the medical treatment given to his client was very bad after giving testimony in the investigation into the death of the Argentine football star. Authorities in the northern suburb of Buenos Aires are investigating the circumstances of Maradona's death. Moria told reporters that there were many mistakes made that caused the death of the football legend. Maradona died of a heart attack on 25th of November 2020, aged 60, while while recovering from an operation to remove a blood clot from his head. The late football great has been recovering in a private residence under the supervision of a medical team. The team members have already testified in the investigation to determine whether there was any neglect or malpractice in Maradona's care. Yes. And that's all we had for you right here at the KBC Sports Desk News. Let's do this all over again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Do have yourself a lovely night. My name is Karen Kibet, but the broadcast is not yet over as I do hand you back to Tom.
Thank you, Karen Kibet. Thank you very much for that. Well, that's all we had time for on the day that Kenya Broadcasting Corporation entered into an agreement with the Media Council of Kenya to train interns. Thank you once again for watching. I'm Tom Mboya. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.